So the same thing we did with the graphics last time, we're gonna do with the sound this time. So I will create different sound styles and then we're going to choose the best one. I think sound styles won't take as long as graphic styles, so let's do them all today. First of all, I want to swap these mics. Let's use the good mic. PC. Here you got a couple of things that make good sounds. Spaghetti. Boiled eggs from the egg that I ate in the morning. The goal is not to finish a complete sound style, all of the sounds, but just to figure out how the game should sound, how we want it to sound, because I have absolutely no idea. So I have 4 different ideas. First one is really epic white, just white and dark. Then the second sound style I described with silent, relaxing, crunchy. Then a sound style that is just trance, electro, sci-fi. Then the last one I want to try something completely different, is just something funky, groovy, funny. And I want to choose something interesting, something very different that still fits the game. So that's the ultimate goal, finding something that's very different but that still fits the game. I really have to admit, and on this day I didn't get the results I wanted at all. I had some really cool things in mind, but firstly I didn't manage to execute them correctly. And secondly, just creating 4 sound styles on one day was just a bit too ambitious. So I ended up with 4 half-baked kind of weird things. I really should just have focused on one and made one good one instead, not just 4 crappy ones. That was a big mistake I made. So I didn't really get very good results. As you can see, I use Cubase to make music. Now the first track is the dark white one. I think we can have a listen to it in game. Let's do that. Well, so that didn't sound that bad, but believe me, from here it's all downhill. This was pretty much as good as it was going to get. Next up, I created the silent background track, which just ended up sounding super weird and makes you feel kind of uncomfortable. Just recorded some mic sounds, some... This didn't really work out. Next up, I wanted to create the trance electro soundtrack. What I should have done is just using one chord and making some really cool sounds, just something that really gets you into the flow. What I did instead is I chose a way too complicated chord progression. Not really a complicated one, but too complicated for what I wanted to do. And yeah, that turned it into a bit of a mess. There was too much melody, and then what ruined it completely at the end was that I decided to sing over it. The lead instrument was still missing. I had all the fluff on the side, but there was still a lead instrument missing, and for some reason I just thought, okay, what's the fastest way to do this? Let's sing something and then let's put some filters on my voice so it sounds like a synthesizer. That did not work at all. It was a really stupid idea. It sounds so stupid and embarrassing. So yeah, that was pretty much pure cringe to listen to in editing. If I had done the same lead melody with a real synthesizer, it would have been way better. Don't know why I didn't do that. Really should have done that. But if you think that was already the worst, then you haven't seen this track. Oh, I think it has a really cool groove, so I would listen to it by itself, but it just doesn't fit the game at all. It feels so out of place, it feels like a completely different game. Ugh, just look at this.
Doesn't make any sound at all.
So my initial plan was to create different sounds for all 4 of those sound styles. Yeah, I didn't manage to do that because I ran out of time and out of motivation. The sounds I ended up using were eggshells for the eggs and the water sound where I had the water in my mouth for destroying the enemies. I know the sound doesn't really have enough impact yet. I think it needs to sound a bit more powerful. I'm not really sure about the sounds. I think for now they work, but I don't know if we can use them in the final game. We might have to rethink that a little bit.
Let me summarize the day for you really quick. This was a bit too much. I couldn't handle making separate sounds for every sound style, so I just took the sounds I created for one style and took them for all of these sound styles. Just one time with a lot of echo and reverb, and one time a more dry version. And then we have 4 different background tracks. I think the background tracks are the most important component anyway. If we can decide on a cool background track, I think we can still adapt the sounds or make new sounds. But let's try to decide on a background track or a direction we want to take. My favorite one is the silent one.
Okay, I don't know what I was on that day. I think I ate too much Play-Doh. Yeah, I think the only acceptable one is the dark one. I wanted to ask you which one you liked the best. Honestly, I think we don't even need to discuss this. So far, the dark one works the best. Yeah, I think we'll have to do some further experimentation. This is not quite it yet. We'll have to continue experimenting and then maybe we find something that works.
Make the world your playground and see you next time.